Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Champions League playoff matchup. I'm churning these videos out so fast, it's like I'm Boyd. He puts out like 3 videos a day. Man, I've got 2 for you today. So 2 Champions League playoff matchups today. I'm excited for this second one. Matreiuss versus Grandmonster. 2 long names here. Grandmonster particular. And 2 players who are kind of familiar with each other. Now, this season, obviously, since they're meeting in the first round of the playoffs, they were not in the same division. But last season, I did some homework. Last season, in the regular season, Grandmonster beat Matreiuss 2-0. This season, Grandmonster beat the #1 player in his division. That was Shelty. Matreiuss is the #1 player in the other division. I'm seeing some consistency here that is telling me that despite the odds, Grandmonster is going to win tonight. But who knows? Matreiuss has looked unbeatable this season because, well, he basically has been unbeatable. 6-0 in his series, 12-2 overall. He even beat Chemo. In fact, he beat Chemo 2-0. So he has looked fantastic this season, sporting his Poseidon. Grandmonster, so up and down. Like I said, he beat Shelty in the first #1 player in his division, but then he lost some other matches too, and he barely slid into the playoffs, winning a couple tiebreakers to get in at an 8-9 overall match record, which is still good considering the quality of players. But you have to play really well, and I'm thinking as a Norse main, we look over here at game number 5 being Mediterranean. Gonna think Grandmonster is probably gonna want to win 3 of the first 4 because Odin versus Greek on a Mediterranean, tough. So it's Italy versus Bulgaria, 2 countries with very similar flags, as you can see. No offense, but mix things up a little bit here. They look exactly the same. But such is life sometimes. Bulgaria is a country that around here don't hear much about. Its capital is Sofia. And I found out when I did a Google search for an interesting fact about Bulgaria. It is the country in Europe with the oldest name. It has been called Bulgaria since 681 AD. That's a long time. We'll see if Grandmonster can win. We'll find out. Yeah, Grandmonster, he's pretty good. He plays, I think, he plays a lot of different game settings. He plays the extended edition. He plays the original, like Age of Mythology. But never mind that. Let's look at the bracket real quick. We're looking at the very top. I'm not going to give spoilers for the other matches, though I did stream Player versus Scotty previously. I may end up letting something slip, so if you haven't watched that and you don't want to be spoiled, maybe watch that other video first. FYI. But we're looking at Matreiuss versus Grandmonster up here at the very top, and they will play the winner of Player versus Scotty, whoever does win. So let's move on to game 1, which will be on Fields of Punishment, which is a non-standard map. And good to have Max Caliber and T-Mac on board with me, and others as well, I am sure, and those watching later. Grandmonster versus Matreiuss, game number 1 on Fields of Punishment, which will be a map that you won't recognize because it's kind of new. I mean, I guess we did have it in the last Bill Greg Open tournament, or the last Champions League, so maybe you'd recognize it. But we are looking at Grandmonster here in the left in the blue color, and he is Odin. And on the right is Matreiuss in red, and he is Poseidon, deciding to kill every boar that he can find. I think he's trying to kill it in case the lure would lure his own boar away, which would be really awful. Though I think the lure was too close to the boar to lure anyway. But just saying. Better safe than sorry. Fields of Punishment, Poseidon versus Odin. You may ask, what is this map? Well, this map is a non-standard map. It's got a few walking berry bushes that look really tough, but they only have 2 attack and 25 hit points. It's actually, I do believe these are a nice way to get some favor early on in the game, because I do believe they give some favor for killing them. So look at these stupid things. I love this map. But every game should be played on a non-standard map. This is just funny. Man, I love it. But other than these silly, useless walking berry bushes that really do nothing, what is this map? Well, it's pretty open, as you can see. Not a whole lot of trees in the middle. In fact, the middle is pretty much wide open, except for a few straggler trees, a gold mine, and then 2 pits of lava. Don't fall into there. Otherwise, we've got some elk, some boar, and a lot of boar and a lot of elk, and some bears too that have found their way into the underworld. But it's a pretty high hunt map. The problem is most of the hunt is kind of out in the wide open space, so it's pretty risky. So we'll probably see a pretty aggressive game here. As we can see, the town centers are both forward for both players, and this one really doesn't protect much. And neither does this one, really. I mean, I guess it kind of pseudo-protects this one because it's behind. But yeah, this town center here is kind of like way down in the bottom. But nice back gold mine here for Grandmonster. That's a delicious spawn for him. But this one's pretty decent as well for Matreiuss. But yeah, Odin versus Poseidon. I always say this, but I feel like Greek versus Norse can generate the most fun matchups, or most fun maps, I guess. Most fun games. So I'm kind of excited, because I think we'll see a lot of Odin versus Poseidon here, which I think is a fair matchup these days, and I think it's a fun matchup. The difference might be skill level here, where I don't think Grandmonster has been quite as active this season as he was last season, so he's maybe a little out of practice. Matreiuss, meanwhile, has been looking real good. You can see Grandmonster is a little bit worried about a rush here, it looks like. But he's up faster than Matreiuss anyway, so I don't think he really needs to be too worried. As we see him putting his walls around his forward tower. He is going up Freya already. And Matreiuss, not yet. A little bit slower, but yeah, he's even putting out the hero first. And we need this map in the map pool. I think we need a lot of new maps in the map pool, but I am just one person. And generally it seems like any new map in the map pool is just... this creates too much drama. What kind of relics we got here? We've got the Tail of Cerberus, which makes myth units have a quicker recharge time on their special. That actually could be pretty good, depending. And for some reason, I'm having a hard time finding the other relic. I don't see it. Maybe there's only one. But yeah, so we've got Freya's up already. It's a pretty quick advance. Yeah, Matreiuss, or Grandmonster here, really worried about a rush on his forward gold mine, which I guess isn't a bad idea. And we have H2 Hermes for Matreiuss. And he is on 2 wood lines. Very important if you're playing Odin to have 2 wood lines, because one's going to get burned, probably. In which case, if you're all in here, and this gets burned, well, then you're kind of going to be out of wood for a while. This is a lot of villagers on wood, though. And a really defensive, stable placement here. And this villager, I think, has just walled this off. There's another relic up here, top left. Oh, that's me. Yeah, I fell for that joke again. Dang it. Full RC Worth versus Poseidon. I don't think so. Because Ulfsarks get a attack bonus versus cavalry now. I don't think it's worth it. I also don't think it's good for... oh, I guess it's just one Alicia to die. whatever. That's not bad. What's the Ulfsark's base attack? Well, let me take a look here. The Ulfsark's base attack is 9 with a 10% attack bonus, so 9.9 attack. I mean, I guess, does that really matter? I think it does. Every little bit helps. But he is going full Hippocon here. So, we'll see. But yeah, I think you just go full on Ulfsarks. I don't really think there's a reason to train raiding cavalry until you notice a archery range. So a lot of raiding cavalry here. I don't think that's what you want to do. Yeah, and he is going pure raiding cavalry. So maybe he's going raiding cavalry because they cost slightly less food than an Ulfsark. I don't know. But we got Matreiuss coming in on this hunt spot here, which is going to be a little bit of a problem for Grandmonster, who I don't think is noticed yet, and is just going to lose a villager. That's not good. And we'll probably lose 2, and that's a rough start to the game, and we'll lose 3 due to a slow response there. And that's not good. And meanwhile, Matreiuss is fully walled off, and that's something that should not have happened. I mean, Grandmonster's army, he's got more army. He's got 2 ravens. I really don't think there's any reason that a Poseidon, 5-6 units from Poseidon should be able to get on your hunt undetected. Like, I understand it happened, but I don't think there's a good reason that it happened. There's no way it should have happened, as we see these units have snuck in through this wall here. And we'll try to come back here, and, well, Matreiuss is kind of leaving these villagers out to dry. Oof. I probably could have killed a villager there, but we'll just run on by, I guess. And the Valkyrie did go down. She lost a lot of health quickly. How did she die so fast? And we're on these villagers now. We'll kill 1. Okay, so one returned from the 3 that died up here. Still holding on to that forest fire. The problem with this tree cut here, I think if you use forest fire here, it might... Nah, it'll still follow up. As long as this one is here. Yeah, 2 streams. Yeah, did get a Goldville? Okay, I didn't notice that. My bad, sorry. You guys keep me honest. Well, you might get another one here. Just get on it. Matreiuss being a little bit reckless with his villagers here. And, oh, don't get distracted by the hero. Oh, no. And okay, that didn't quite work quite as well there. The villagers took safety behind Hippolyta and the Centaur as we see a fight here. The raiding cavalry, so far this one's nice and trapped, and now the Hippocon will run away after getting kind of a free kill on a raiding cavalry. So nice unit management here by Matreiuss. And eco upgrades we got, and just husbandry and hunting dogs. No pickaxe at all. You'd think you'd get a pickaxe by now. Your Grandmonster. I mean, he's floating a lot of resources. 450 wood, so it's like he wants pickaxe. We see these 2 other raiding cavalry did get picked off on the way out, as Grandmonster is trying to wall off this front of the map, but I don't know what's going on with the wall here. And the raiding cavalry should not fight this. I don't know why Matreiuss is considering running. When we've got 11 versus 10. And Hippocon do quite well head on there until the raiding cavalry. I mean, the raiding cavalry will eventually, like, you'll get more of them because they're only 2 pop units. But that was a fight that I think Matreiuss probably should have taken. I guess maybe he was scared because they're medium raiders versus unupgraded Hippocon. But now we've got more. But we see that Matreiuss is already aging up to Aphrodite. Whereas Grandmonster looks like he's maybe going to try to get a town center soon. Not sure. I don't know if this wall actually is walled off there. And a little bit of a skirmish here. But Grandmonster would love to run in with his raiding cavalry. Like, it's almost worth it at this point. Just to, like, forest fire this so he can just run in. Because he really doesn't want to fight this. But the problem is he can't really delay because we have medium cavalry and Aphrodite coming in for Matreiuss, who is kind of substantially ahead in the aging up aspect, as we see a second town center being grabbed from Grandmonster. That's risky. I mean, because you kind of get a huge power surge with Frost. But grabbing this town center will mean Frost is probably going to be at least 5-6 minutes away. But this could be a pretty good surround here. I mean, we'll probably see Curse, and then we've got the Nemean Lion coming in. So there's the Curse, the Nemean Lion, and now the Raiding Cavalry got to run. Get them out of there. They run. There we go. But, again, why not Ulfsarks? You know? They can raid almost as well. They're not quite as fast. And Grandmonster could potentially, but see, here's the problem. Now that Matreiuss is age 3, now he's training all these Prodromos, so these Prodromos are just going to absolutely shred these raiding cavalry, as we see another raid down here with two Vils, 2 Nemean Lions, Prodromos. I think this is a game where if you see your opponent going double stable, why not go Ulfsark? I guess I don't understand that, but again, I'm not an Odin player, so maybe I'm wrong, but I think you go Ulfsark here. And now Grandmonster's holding on to this town center that isn't doing much for him. Can't even really train villagers out of it, because where are they going to go? And we can see that Matreiuss is probably just going to go up to Mythic and then use Earthquake on this base, and it's just going to all disappear. And there's a wall here, but it's not even finished. We see these 3 units killing more. And Matreiuss is just kind of picked away at villagers. And these raiding cavalry are getting chased away by Prodromos, Hippikon, and 2 Nemean Lions. And Grandmonster will maybe get a decent surround here, and maybe not. But this is not a winning fight for Grandmonster, and the Hippikon are charging in, along with the Nemean Lion, which in Classical Age, there's nothing that Norse can use to kill a Nemean Lion. I mean, theoretically, they have Hersir, but really, these fat slowpokes, they're not quite going to do what they need to do. This one is trapped, but we have one Hersir down, 2 Hersir down, 3, and this fight's not going quite as bad as I thought it would for Grandmonster here, actually. Just beneficiary of just having so many more numbers, and that fight, I think it helped that he finally got some Ulfsarks in here. Nice little path block. Oh, beautiful. Oh, that is nice to get a little more damage on these units. Very nicely done. And that fight did not, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think that fight would go that way. But all these Ulfsarks, kind of erupted out of the ground, it seemed like. And all of a sudden they're there. It seemed like there was no Ulfsarks at the start of that fight. Now we've got, how many do we got? We got 16. Where'd they all come from? Matreiuss is, however, up 80%. Artemis, as he's grabbing this forward town center and now mixing in Paspis. And still, though, we got to be careful of his army here. I mean, there's only 1 Hippaspis, and this town center grab is not working. And these units are just kind of being funneled in as we have an immediate earthquake that was not a great one. It could have killed so much more, but it didn't. And here comes the Chimera here. And that was not a great earthquake. And the reason I say that is because if it were used here, it would have flattened all of this. Instead, he killed a tower and a town center. But we've got this Chimera, and we've got 2 Chimera. I don't know how... Well, there's not even a single hero here. I don't think that... Oof. These Chimera are gonna do some work to this army here. Oh man. The retreat is not working out for these units. See, honestly, you should just have one raiding cavalry step back and slow down these Chimera. Otherwise, they're going to keep roasting these units on the way out. This one probably has another special coming up. We do see Scotty coming. But, oh no. And here comes another one. Oh, path blocked. Ah, just on the throwing axeman, basically. But that hurt. That hurt. And now we've got 3 Chimera. And trying to build this town center. A random Hippocon coming back here. How does Grandmonster respond now to the Chimera that are just running around roasting everything? Herseer are so expensive. It looks like Grandmonster, who's floating a lot of resources, is trying to do a Ragnarok? I don't know if that's the right play. Uh-oh. Oh no. This Frost Giant is gonna funnel these. Oh, did he not see? Oh, he didn't see. He did not notice. But they're gonna come around the back, and because this wall isn't finished, he can come down on these villagers pretty easily, and Grandmaster does not know where these... Oh, man. Well, not as good as it could have been. Oh, shoot. Man. You know, Matreiuss, this is a game where this Tail of Cerberus relic would be really good. Yeah, he's going Balder. But with 55 villagers, now 54... I don't know if this one, what you want. This Polyphemus is probably going to solo kill this town center here. I don't think there's enough reg to win this. Now, the question is, where are the gold mines? Matreiuss only really has this one gold mine. So this could be trouble. And we did get a Frost Giant on the not the Manticore, on the Chimera here, which is essentially, and it might as well be a kill. What in the world is going on here? Really confused. He kept breathing on it. And he's just going to call it. Because he lost units down here. And the town center was down. And I think he lost more villagers while I was looking at that. And... yeah. Maybe could have not spent the 2,000 resources on Balder and trained like 10 Herseer instead. But yeah, Polyphemus kind of solo killed the town center down here. I probably missed the Manticore here roasting a whole bunch of dwarfs while I was distracted by what was going on up here. And I mean, Chimera, not Manticore. Chimera is so tough to deal with as Norse, especially if you don't have Hall of Thanes, which he doesn't. So this fight here the fight way back went really well for Grandmonster, which I was kind of surprised. But the kill-death ratio, whoa. 85 killed, 39 lost, and look at, yeah. Shoo. Yeah, but Frost Giants, the problem, though, the Frost Giants only work on maps that are somewhat closed. Because we're looking at 3.8 speed instead of 5.3. So theoretically, if he's able to wall off the map, the Frost Giants can do okay. But on an open land map like this, I mean, Frost Giants shouldn't be able to keep up with the Fire Giants. Now, if you force it to where you have to fight in a certain area, yes, the Frost Giants kind of counter the Manticore, but you shouldn't really be fighting in that manner, you know, at least as the Poseidon. Maybe you don't want to. But let's move on to game number 2 here. And we'll give Matreiuss his first win. Well, last season when Grandmonster played Matreiuss, he won 2-0 during the regular season. So far, we aren't seeing that yet here. And we will move on to game number 2. Yeah, Fields of Punishment. This is a fun map. I like it. A fun map. And we will move on. Yes, each series has one non-standard map. So this is this one. And we'll move on to game number 2. Odin versus Poseidon. On Frozen Wastes. Boy, it's like a completely different color of map. Like we go from like the dark grays to... I gotta like put some sunglasses on for this. It's so bright. But we've got Matreiuss on the right as Poseidon, and Grandmonster on the left as Odin. So it's nice that these players are keeping the same side here. But who wins in this map? Odin or Poseidon? Who wins? I think both players are... I think both god powers here are actually pretty nice. Because of all the hunt it gives in your base. Because this is a pretty rough map if you want to forward hunt on it. Because the hunt is all really far forward. But the Great Hunt giving you all this hunt in your base is so nice. And if you save it for your goats, then you get even more goats, which is even more food. Otherwise, this map's pretty standard as far as... I mean, it doesn't really vary a whole lot these days. We do have 2 gold mines in the base here. Gold mines are kind of all forward. There has been a tendency in the updated map, as mentioned in the chat, is that the secondary gold mines do tend to be a little bit too safe, and like sometimes they're right next to a town center. This map is pretty decent as far as where the gold mines are. This isn't bad. But yes, the map will be patched going forward. Just didn't want to throw it in a patch right in the middle of the tournament. So after this is done, it'll be patched, and you'll probably see the gold mines. Should be seeing the gold mines being a little bit less safe. Remove all of them and put one in the middle. You know, there's a Gold Rush in Age 2 that has that mechanic, and it's a pretty cool map. I don't know if you'd see that there, but yeah, there's some commentary as far as it seems like Grandmonster doesn't like this map as Odin. I think this is a good Odin map. I think this is a very good Odin map. So if he doesn't like it, I'm not really sure why. But yeah, comparing H2 maps to AoM is, with elevation, is always substantially different. The elevation, that's the hard thing with 3D, the way they changed the engine. You couldn't, with the way it was, you couldn't really have elevation on like any little change because there's elevation everywhere. You just can't really see it. Obviously, there is the attack bonus on cliffs, but you very rarely get to use that. Like if it's it's technically a 4-meter height in Age of Mythology, and then you do get an attack bonus, but you almost are never, ever at that 4-meter height. Like even most cliffs. But even the original elevation on the no patch doesn't do anything. How much of a difference does elevation make? I forget. It's pretty substantial. And I think you also get a attack penalty firing up the hill too. But no, it's pretty substantial. It's just you never get to use it. And we do see a double Ulsark spawn here for Grandmonster, I think. Yeah, which is good. Yeah, minus 25 and plus 25. That's what I thought. It is only ranged units in AoM, but it's not melee. As we see double stable again. Now, Grandmonster should really go with barracks. I mean, not barracks, with Ulfsarks here. Like, I hope he does. Well, that's why Arctic Craters came into being. Those hills are high enough. And look at this! Look at this here. Oh, they snuck out anyway. Oh, he was going to try to do some godly forest fire and trapping these villagers, but they sneak out anyway. Oh, man. Yes, wall chips are pretty buggy here. He should have actually just made one wall. Like a wall segment thing. Yeah, wall chips are buggy and villagers are able to suck it in and kind of fit through gaps they shouldn't. Pretty much any other unit can't. And like these wall chips for any other unit other than maybe the Atlanteans who have really small hit boxes on their units, they might be able to slide through, but you try to slide through with anything else and it's not going to work. Because we see this Valk trying to get at this Centaur. Gotta run out of here, not take too much damage. Kind of too late for that. And are we seeing, again, raiding cavalry? Why? Why? I don't know why you wouldn't. Why not make Wolfstar? I don't understand. Why not? There are mods that have these maps. The problem is map transfers in a extended edition are a little bit bugged, where they override anything in a mod. So say a map is in a mod and then it gets updated. The maps that were transferred will override any updated versions, so then you're going to start getting tons of out of syncs and stuff. Wolfstar? Why would... No, I disagree. I don't think RC is better. I mean, you're getting 9.9 attack from an Ulfsark with higher hack armor. I think it gets double stable. I mean, I'm not a Norse mains, but in my opinion, from what I've seen, is I think the Ulfsarks work better here against double stable, which you should be able to see. Now, I mean, I don't know. I could forest fire this, but maybe not. Still are holding on to the forest fire. These villagers are running up to the top here. I mean, the raiding cavalry are, of course, better at actually raiding. But I don't know. I like Ulfsarks better. Okay, you're trolling. Okay. All right, I was hoping you were as a Norse main. But like, I do remember this match and then Player versus Scotty are the only two matches that I've seen so far, so no spoilers if you are so inclined to spoil. But what are we looking at? Both players are pretty much the same as far as population right now. Grandmonster one villager behind. Looking for some villagers to raid. I mean, nice wall here with a gate. I mean, as long as there isn't a surround on the units, Matreiuss can run out, but we'll see. There's one villager dead. Just doesn't want to lose his army while he's raiding. So 2 villagers down. That's really good. And now, I don't think Matreiuss... Oh... He didn't scout that hunt up there. So that's why he's not checking it. But realistically, he should know it's there. Because there's going to be that other... There's going to be another hunt pack somewhere. Well, he should know there's a pack there. As we see the raiding cavalry coming down. Matreiuss is way up on pop space now. 85 to 76. as Grandmonster's army production has kind of stopped for the moment. But I'm trying to raid through here. Is E worth buying? It depends. I mean, I would probably not buy it unless it's on sale. It's kind of overpriced if it's not on sale, but you know what it is. You know, it's all opinion. But yeah, I think this is a time where some Olsarks really should start popping out here. They do so well. It looks like we're going to try to get a surround in on these units, but I don't know if Grandmonster wins this fight. I don't know. He's trying to, but the forest fire being used is not going to tag a whole lot of units, and I don't know if this is a fight that Grandmonster should be taking. It looks like the raiding cavalry are kind of going up in smoke right next to the fire, and I'm not quite sure why he thought he would win that. I mean, he was below an army units anyway, so I don't know. I don't know about that one. Like, it seems to me, I might be wrong, but it kind of seems to me that the general way to win as Norse is just to raid, and try to avoid a straight-on fight against kind of any opponent. So I don't know why he decided to choose this fight here, because it wasn't like a fight that was forced. He didn't have to fight it. Kind of voluntarily took it and lost it. And he is getting Thundering Hooves now, but losing a lot of this. And still looking for stuff to raid, but he might be able to pick off a villager or two maybe if he gets on him right away, but not quite. And now we've got all these Hippicon just running around the base. Matreiuss, though, probably could just sit on this gold mine. Instead, he's kind of killing buildings that maybe, like, I mean, killing this tower probably doesn't do a whole lot. I guess there are maybe some units hiding in there that he could get at. More raiding cavalry fighting Hippicon underneath the town center is not really where these raiding cavalry want to be, as we see. This is another good trade for Matreiuss here. Gotta fall back. I mean, again, you only fight if you have to as the Norse. Now, this fight here, though, is going pretty well for Grandmonster, because he kind of just, these one by one Hippicon keep getting trickled in versus 10 raiding cavalry. So I may not be a big city mathematician, but these numbers on the right are good for Grandmonster. These numbers on the left are good for Matreiuss, although we do have the reinforcements that will come in quicker. This centaur is so annoying. A few more shots will get it down, and so Grandmonster will eventually clean this up, while his raiding cavalry are also getting cleaned up on the right. And Grandmonster is 3 villagers ahead and is now ahead in pop. Why? Matt probably stood here and fought this a little bit too long, and then was just trickling in units here one by one a little bit too long as well. Like, probably should have just combined, you know, waited until he actually had like 6 Hippicon to send in here rather than send 2 or 3 in at once. And meanwhile, we've had all these villagers that were hunting up here for so long because Matreiuss did not scout them, that Matreiuss could have hit instead of coming through up here. And we've got a big raid on these villagers potentially coming through. We do have now Thundering Hooves. This is where, though, going the raiding cavalry does help, because you get a little bit more hit points, and then that speed is so good. And yes, these villagers got to get out of here. Got to get out of here fast. Now, we have probably enough Hippicon to save enough of these villagers who are kind of turning to shank these raiding cavalry on their way out. Raiding cavalry got to run. But there are a few more raiding cavalry down here. And villagers in the wide open. And now this fight is looking good for Grandmonster, because Matreiuss suddenly is having some eco issues, courtesy of this raid down here. And this is a nice surround here, and Matreiuss, whew. The game looked so good for him like 3 minutes ago. And now he's just like, just fighting under popped here, fighting underpopped eventually over here, and now fighting this underpopped, and he just keeps throwing away super expensive Hippocon, and this pure raiding cavalry is working here. And the villagers are trying to save the day, but you've got medium with thundering hooves. Oh man. Now the villagers might sway the tide here, but I mean, they're still idle and they're still dying. And eventually, oh, another villager down. Whew, so many villies down. The raiding cavalry just pouring in. And Matreiuss does hold. Man, look at this battlefield here. All these poor horses just melting into the snow. Oh man, I don't know if you can really melt into snow, but they did. And now, again, Matreiuss kind of sticking to a fight that he probably shouldn't be fighting anymore, as these raiding cavalry are coming in. And Matreiuss has the score lead. I'm not really sure how, because he's down 16 villagers and is way down on pop space. And we now have a Valk coming in, and she will do a ton of damage to the Centaur, courtesy of her additional bonus. He made Centaurs. Yeah, you're right. I forgot. Centaurs, when they live, for some reason, favor counts as like a ton of points. And these villagers are surrounded, and I think Grandmonster has turned this game completely around. You see another fight here. 3 Valks now. Whew. And that is it. GG, man. This series has gotten a little more juicy here. Nice game. Wow. And resigning with a high score. I like it. But that was a game where Matreiuss, he had it. He had it in the bag. But he did not know about this hunt. So, like, instead of coming down here, now, although he did do a lot of damage by coming in, killing buildings and such, he didn't do a ton of damage to economy. And what he could have done is come up here and get on the hunt up there and sit on all of this hunt. Instead, he did not actually ever scout that, so he never actually checked it. So, hence, there is that. So 1-1, juicy series here. If he put a spoiler in the chat, I didn't see it. So that's good, I guess. So that's a fun game. Nice game there. Raiding cavalry versus raiding cavalry. Really good attack kill loss ratio here, 82 to 69. But yeah, just behind in economy. Wasn't too far behind in villagers, but it's that hunt that Grandmonster was able to just stay on that hunt, and of course he's Odin with that extra hunt bonus, so that's good there. So fun game there. I enjoyed that. Eco upgrades, what do we look like? Yeah, first line, and then the eco upgrades for Grandmonster first line as well. So game number 3 is coming right around the corner. Well, that was a fast-paced game, back and forth. I think this is a game that Matreiuss, probably looking back at, would think that he could win this, because there were opportunities there. But Grandmonster, good job. I thought he was out, but he pulled it back. Game number 3. Yes! Odin versus Poseidon again on Tundra. All right. Some nice couple opening maps here for the Odin players. We're looking, though, at the Poseidon up at the top. The Poseidon. Up at the top in the red color, it's Matreiuss, number 1 in his league, and in fact is the only Champion League player coming into these playoffs without a series loss. 6-0 coming into this first playoff match, and has now dropped a game. So he is now 1-1. The series is knotted up because Grandmonster, our player in the blue, who's underdog, trying to prove that even though he's the underdog, he's the better player. We'll see. 1 win is a long way away from 3. And don't forget, we've got Mediterranean lurking in the background in game number 5. So if Grandmonster wants to win, I think he probably realizes he needs to win this map and the next one, which I don't remember what it is off the top of my head right now, but we'll see after this game. As we see Tundra. So Tundra, I think, does... Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it favors the Odin in this matchup. Because it's high hunt. And you might be looking at me right now, wondering why in the world did Grandmonster move from this hunt up here. That's because once Classical Age runs around, it's a whole lot easier to hunt from your base hunt than it is forward. So if you can, and it's not too big of a pain as far as walking distance, eat your forward hunt first, fall back to your back hunt later. We do have a great hunt was used to get a lot of goats, so that's even more safe food just that can settle right next into the town center. And I do appreciate all you guys who are tuning in and watching along with me. I enjoy the company. Hunting dogs, of course. So, will we see any strategy variation? Or is it going to be raiding cavalry? Uh-oh. What am I seeing here? Looks like Matreiuss is going for a... Yeah, just kill the villager. Jeez, this is like a free win. Whoa. Man, you probably shouldn't go forward and build a temple when you have no line of sight of where you're building the temple at. Now, that was a dumb move. And this wolf is showing this villager he means business. Get out of here. You're sitting to kind of this side of the map anyway. So Matreiuss was trying a pestilence rush there through Ares, but chose just a very, some would say unlucky. I would say you make your own luck, and there's no reason to be building a temple in a location that you really have no line of sight. So he's building it here, has no idea what's over here. So, whew, probably should have scouted the side of the map that he was going to build his temple on. I know he's trying to avoid the Ulfsark, and maybe the Ulfsark was lurking over here, but the underdog is Grandmonster. He was the 4th place finisher in his division with a 3-3 record, 8-9 overall individual game score. Matreiuss was 6-0 and only lost 2 games during the entire regular season, though we do now see a hero coming forward on this hunt. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. And the Raven spots the hero, so the villagers will just run back to his safe hunt. Here it is, right there. So let's see what happens here. Always forget this thing. Alright, to show us that we do still have Ares coming in, though. So, despite the failed forward temple, we still have Ares, which I find a little weird. And this hero is taking way more damage than he really should be. And, whew. Yeah, Frost Giants are super strong. I will admit, but here's my line of thinking to all the complainers. Is that Norse has been winning tournaments since when? Well, since never. So, if they're overtuned, which I don't think they are, it's no problem. If Eggy is over nerfed, which I don't think they are, that's also no problem. Here's the Cyclops, a very tough dude to deal with as Norse. Now, Grandmonster trying to spread his buildings out, but doing kind of a crappy job of it. You just use Pestilence here, and it's pretty easy. Probably waiting a little bit for these barracks to come up, but probably should have used Pestilence before that scout died. Because if you're not going to use Pestilence early, why go up with Ares? You know? And there it is, and he does get all 3 buildings. Anyway, so that's okay. It's only in time for, I guess he got one Ulfsark out. So, but, ooh. Oh, he's only got 19 hit points. This hero has almost died for no reason. Like, has almost done no damage, and he's almost dead. And now you don't want your Cyclops to be taking all this damage. This is some uncharacteristic, sloppy play from Grandmonster here, who is basically lost his hero for free and now lost almost half of his hit points, over half of his hit points on his his Cyclops. Where the only thing the Cyclops has done so far is to kill 2 towers that really don't protect anything anyway. So what does Matreiuss really care about that? And he is going Ulfsark here, which I think is really good because they train so fast. So the fact that there was Pestilence, now Grandmonster can just pump out a whole ton of Ulfsarks super quick. You need to watch out, though, for these units down here. Still has 2 Oryx down in the base down there as well. But yeah, you just wall this. Oh, the Valk. Gotta get her out of there. Yeah, I don't think killing this tower helps much. Just wall this off. And now we've got a nice fight. Probably garrison your Ulfsark because they almost die because they'll heal up. Got a garrison. Whoa, nice garrisoning there. Nice job from Grandmonster there. He saved 4 units that were almost dead. And now, okay, this one wasn't almost dead. And now they'll just regenerate. So really well done by Grandmonster there. As we have this Cyclops over here, but he's got to watch out. Now just don't lose your units that you saved, though. And, oh no. Oh. Does get a throw off, but I don't know if that's really worth it. I guess he was... Did you hear that noise that Ulfsark made banging his head? Oh man, this Cyclops is doing tricks here. Oh man, I love the Cyclops throw. It is the best special in the game. And now we've got all these Ulfsarks that really do well in this situation. But Grandmonster is doing what he should do. And probably not fight head on. Should start doing some raids. Again, you typically, unless you're way over popping the Greek when it comes to fighting, there's from army, you want to just raid, and that's what it looks like. But no, now that there's a few Toxotes, you do need to start mixing in some Hippicon, or not Hippicon, some raiding cavalry. I read this word here, Hippicon, yes, and he's not pure. He's switching to Toxotes. One thing that I see here though is we got 5 military buildings here, and he's not going to be able to produce from all 5, at least not for super long, consistently. These Ulfsarks are coming up here. We'll probably be able to get a nice little raid off. They do have some very important technology. This is what makes Odin Ulfsark so good, is Lone Wanderer. That plus 10% Ulfsark movement speed is huge, because it gets them over the 5.0 speed bump. So now they are fast enough to dodge attacks from Toxotes. These Ulfsarks come in. Town bell was rung. Town bell was on rung. I think Matreiuss thought he rang his town bell and that these villagers were coming back. And 1 villager down. Storehouse deleted, but 2 more. And this is looking good for Grandmonster. All started with that really questionable forward temple that didn't work, and now we've got these villagers who are also in a bad spot. The Ulfsarks need to run out though, because the Hippicon are here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Could maybe try to path block, but I think there's a way out on the back anyway. But yeah, build a... Oh, no, don't turn and fight. Gotta get out of here. This is dangerous. If Matreiuss were thinking, he could path block. Oh, he's gonna force fire his way out. All right. Not bad, not bad. I mean, you don't really want to have to use it like that. So, that's okay. And then the Odin regen will slowly tick as these units keep going. And Grandmonster is at 103 pop, Matreiuss 105. So, the game is actually still pretty close here. We got raiding cavalry coming forward on this hunt while these units are off to check for the Ulfsarks. The raiding cavalry are coming in on this hunt here while this army is way out of position. Oh, they got distracted by the Toxotes, though, so not as much damage as could have been done. And surrounding Hippolyta, but... Oh, gotta watch out for these units. Oh, the Hippocon spot it. Gotta get out. And oh, no! The dwarfs are also coming at the same time. This is a big fight here. Gotta get the raiding cavalry in on the Toxotes. I mean, we got units here, but yeah, this is big. This could be the game, depending on... I don't think Matreiuss has enough. I don't think Matreiuss wins this fight. Unupgraded Toxotes. We've also got villagers and dwarfs. Imagine forest fire here. Oh, it would be so tasty. But he doesn't have it. And nice pathing here to get these Toxotes in a pretty safe spot. But Hippolyta's almost dead, and we've got a Valk here. But man, imagine the forest fire. You can only wish. But yeah, this is going to be cleaned up by the Norse player. And that is GG right there. So regardless of the pretty nice unit positioning there, just not enough to win that fight. The unupgraded Toxotes just don't do enough damage. And Matreiuss up 2-1. I mean, Grandmonster up 2-1. That's crazy. But yeah, this all started. I mean, Matreiuss got himself way behind with that temple here, so it was kind of a throw at that point. He made it close, but man, no pickaxe or hand axe. You're winning without pickaxe or hand axe. What is this game coming to? Well played by Grandmonster, though. Nice little raise to keep Matreiuss off. And I feel like Matreiuss just a little bit sloppy. Lost his hero for pretty much nothing. His Cyclops dead for pretty much nothing. 2 towers that in the end didn't matter. So that's a lot to throw away for no reason. All resources. Grandmaster actually behind? No, this can't be right. Oh, this is from the temple being deleted and getting the resources back. So that's not quite accurate. Yeah, it's closer than it looks. But score, military, they had the same amount. Grandmonster is a little bit ahead here, which is going to be normal because of the thing there. But did I predict Matt will win 3-0? I did not. Let me look at my page. I said Matt 3-1. Now that can't happen. But I did not say 3-0. Stop it. Slander. Slander. Shadowfax said Matreiuss 3-2. So he could still be right on there. So we'll see. Hey man, so far Shadowfax, a couple matches I've seen, I'm kind of kicking your butt. But let's move on to game number 3 here before it gets too late into the night. But actually, these are pretty quick. Now, some people like the long, drawn-out games. I think there's a time and place for them. But there's nothing wrong with these games either. This is action-packed. I like it. This is fun. Game 4. Grandmonster versus Matreiuss. This is the big one. This is the big one. Right here, because game 5, as we remember, if it gets to this point, again, these are spoiler free. There may or may not be 5 matches, but game 5 is on Mediterranean. Let's see, game 4, Odin versus Poseidon on Savannah. What kind of a Savannah do we have here? We have 1 rhinoceros as a starting hunt. That's not super great. Do you use Great Hunt on the rhino and the 2 goats? Probably not. He's not going to anyway. The 1 starting rhino. Yeah, I don't know. We will go running naked together if Grandmonster wins this series, because coming into it, I did not anticipate Grandmonster being up 2-1 at all. I did not think that. So I would be completely astounded if Grandmonster is able to finish this off, because Matreiuss has looked so good lately. like, has looked phenomenal. And Grandmonster had a pretty up and down season where some series he looked pretty decent and other series he looked like he wasn't decent. But we'll see. We've got the lure working to pull in these giraffe over here and a gazelle. Rhino is down. Not very good job on the rhino kill. We saw the difference here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm wearing my button-up shirt. This is a professional stream. I can't be blowing kisses. But what we saw the difference here, and actually does make quite a bit of difference, is that Grandmonster pulled his rhino into town center fire, which actually kills it so much faster, and Matreiuss did not, even though he could have, but he built his granary like right on top of the rhino instead of like putting it here or just waiting to kill the rhino first. But what do we got? We got the what kind of secondary hunt are we looking? Whoa. 9 giraffe. That's pretty juicy. And that's in a pretty juicy spot for the Odin. I'm starting to worry for our Poseidon player, for our Italian stallion, who may get picked off in the first round by Grandmonster the Bulgarian. Eight giraffe in a very nice spot. That's about as good of a spawn as you'll get. But Matreiuss is pretty good too. I mean, this isn't unusual hunt amounts for Savannah. As we see even a great hunt used on the giraffe. What did he great hunt? Doesn't look like the giraffe really got great hunted at all. I don't know. What did he use it on? Did it just make one? Did he misclick it? Where did he use Great Hunt? Did he use it on the goats? I'm confused. But it didn't. It seemed like it maybe only made one more giraffe. 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 4, 5. Was it on the goats? Oh, weird Great Hunt. Use it on the goats that late. And not. You might as well have done it right away on the rhino and gotten the rhino and the goats. But whatever. You know. What kind of relic we got? The Staff of Dionysius. Well, don't get that. And then the Head of Orpheus. Buildings line of sight. That's okay too. Use it on the chickens. Yeah, you can't use it on the chickens, but that would be funny. And we got a hyena that kind of wandered in. And walling this off. Man, this could be scary. And if I'm Matreiuss, down 2-1 on a map with this kind of hunt, I'm pretty jittery. Pretty worried. Especially after scouting where his hunt is. I'm a worried man. No, Staff of Dionysius is not good. No. I don't know if it even actually benefits gather rate at all. I'm not sure. The problem is your villagers end up holding so much food that you're starving yourself of food while they're holding like 50 food at one time. So, no, I never get Staff of Dionysius. I think it hurts more than helps. And trying to put probably going to be a little too late here. Well, if he attacks. Hello? There we go. I guess he got to it eventually. Aphrodite's just good for Addy. It doesn't do anything for Addy. And see this again. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. This is some uncharacteristic play from Matreiuss, who's losing his so many hit points on his hero for no reason at all. This is not good. Wow. I don't know though. Gather rate isn't purely based on trips though, because of animations. Like animations completely jack up how technologies work. Where like almost no technology is actually a 10% upgrade. Like they all say, they're like 12, 15, 18, 20, 6. It's just based on animations with the because what I'm talking about here is we have kind of not a whole lot going on other than 2 raiding cavalry coming forward, is that if your carry capacity is 12 and you have 11 gold in your dwarf's hand, he has to do his entire pickaxe animation to complete it. Now this is kind of a bad example because a dwarf has a 1-second pickaxe animation basically, but say your villager has a 2-second gather animation and he'll only gather 1 food in that 2 seconds, so it's kind of bad. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at, if you understand that, and that's why eco upgrades aren't what they seem. We see a nice, I like this forest fire, because the key to winning here as Grandmonster is to kick Matreiuss off of hunt as soon as possible. So nice to just get in that wall and get on these villagers. I'd almost just use a ceasefire here just to stay on the hunt a little bit longer. I don't know if you can afford as Matreiuss to be getting kicked off of hunt like this. In the end, he didn't lose a villager, which was kind of not good. A little bit incompetent there in the fact that so many villagers are at low hit points. As we see, Matreiuss is now sending his villagers forward. So no ceasefire. Maybe I was a little bit eager to cast that ceasefire button because he doesn't have enough hippocons, I guess, to defend as the centaur is smashing down the raven. And now the villagers are back on the hunt anyway. But now we are getting the raid on the villagers again, but still... Oh no. All these low HP villagers. There's now 2 more villagers that are low HP. It's like a collection here. I think Grandmonster is trying to see how many villagers he can get low HP at one point and then kill them all at the same time. While we do see 1 villager down there. And yes, that forest fire was phenomenal. It didn't look flashy, but kicking players off of hunt is so big. And that was, I mean, that was a lot of idle time running back and forth. That gives Grandmonster the edge there. The new maps are on Extended Edition. Look up the Keen party maps in the mod. They might be on there. Or Keen Flame party maps. I think they're on there. Maybe the Voobly map set. Try that. And we actually have Matreiuss going with centaurs. Yeah, good luck getting it in ranked. You got Blue Lagoon in, but you need to get another patch to get that in. And the raiding cavalry will just run away. This is the one benefit of going raiding cavalry instead of Olsarks, is that the raiding cavalry do let you run away a lot faster. Now... Matreiuss could have really path blocked the living daylights out of those raiding cavalry there. Instead, he did just get 1. And the centaurs will do some decent damage to these raiding cavalry. I mean, all 3 shots almost kill a raiding cav. So interesting to see centaurs here as Poseidon. You don't see that very often. But they do. I mean, raiding cavalry have 34% pierce armor. But, but you don't want your centaur surrounded like this. Get Hippolyta. What's she doing slowing down these army? Get her out of there. That's a lot of damage to these centaurs. Oh, that could have been it. Now these hippocons just kind of come wading in. Centaurs, the villagers watching, kind of thinking that this could be the end of their playoff lives, and they have to retreat now. I don't know if the centaur play here was what to do. I mean, they're unupgraded. They're so slow. And as Poseidon, there's so many resources put into this. Oh, man. Oh, I don't know. There's so many units here for 16 raiding cavalry, 9 hippocon. The villagers are now getting whacked away on. The Centaur's trying to do some work, but there's only 2 left. And this is looking really good for Grandmonster. This could be the game-winning push. It looks like it might be. Maybe. We got more Centaurs, but the raiding cavalry just keep coming. And we've got a Valk coming in as well, too. And the villagers got to run all the way to this wood line. Matreiuss is doing farms at 10 minutes on Savannah. Now has a Valk playing on his gold mine with all these low HP villagers. The raiding cavalry are pushed back, but at what cost? The cost of Hunt, the cost of some villagers, the cost of a lot of Hippocon. Ooh. Man. Matreiuss just seems a little bit off his game today. Just a little bit. I don't want to downplay Grandmonster. Grandmonster is playing really well too, but there's just some little things that Matreiuss has been doing as far as like unit management that he hadn't been doing the rest of the season. And now we've got all these Valks in here and Hippolyta with 14 hit points left, and she goes down. And Matreiuss doesn't want to hit the resign button, but with 3 Valks in your face and no hero, this is tough. Tough to defend. I mean, the raiding cavalry are all down. Almost all down. We got some more coming in. We got Hippolyta coming out. We do have 1 Valk that's finally got taken care of. And he fought it off barely, but let's take a look here at the resource count. Will tell us a lot. 31 villagers for Matreiuss, 45 for Grandmonster. So Grandmonster has 50% more villagers essentially than Matreiuss does. That's not good. And this is looking like it could be the first big upset of the tournament. Where can I find a list of observer commands? If you just put exclamation point H, gives you a list in game. Look at this. Modern technology at its finest. But it only works on the Brutally Balanced patch 6.0. We're trying to make it like extended edition with all those observer conditions. But if Matreiuss wins this, oh man. He does have ceasefire. Matreiuss played bad or Grandmonster very good. I think it's been a combination of both. Matreiuss been making some uncharacteristic early mistakes. But Grandmonster's been doing really well. He lost that first game and then has come back just on fire these last 3. All these people in chat just trolling to nerf Odin. We are finally seeing Norse winning in the tournament. Nerf Norse. They have won a tournament match. Maybe. I mean, we aren't there yet, but this Gold Starve is looking pretty eminent for Grandmonster here. I don't know why he's being so passive. He does have Shield Maiden Valkyrie, along with Thundering Hooves. And these Valks, Shield Maiden Valkyrie plus 6 hack damage. Pretty solid. And then also benefits from Thundering Hooves. Is one of those rare technologies that benefits human units and myth units. There's a few of them. But this one's pretty cool. Is Odin good against Uranus? Yes. Odin's good against Uranus. At least on extended. I don't know if Ulfsarks get the 10%. No, Odin's good on extended too. But here's this big last fight here, and there's not enough Hippocon to take this, I don't think. We've got Hippolyta. We do have a Centaur. These Hippocon are surviving longer than I thought they would. We got a Valk up here playing around with the villagers. And yeah, the raiding cavalry are starting to arrive en masse. Here comes 4 more. Villagers just whacking away, trying to save it, but I don't know. There's a ceasefire that was probably used too late, but and I don't know if it would have really helped. We could see Matreiuss at 59 population. Grandmonster at 115. 39 villagers to 56. Matreiuss is going to have to do something magical to not lose. He's farming without plow. He's cutting wood without hand axe. Norse has pickaxe, but no hand axe. Yes, it's the Ulfsarks are strong. It's the 5.0. It's the Odin special tech that gives Ulfsark speed above 5.0. That's what's so important. Because then they can dodge arrows, so they can dodge Terma. Other Ulfsarks can't. I like this lone wall here. Grandmonster 2 has done a very good job. Mostly all this we have Matreiuss is at 0 resources, but Grandmonster doing a good job of never really floating a ton of extra resources. He's floating resources now because he's at 130, 130 pop, but is looking at aging up. He's coming in on this this wall here. Villagers trying to repair so that these hordes of Viking units don't come in, but looks like they're coming in. And this could be the end of the Greek Empire here. This first round. Hippicon, their last stand, trying to make it like the stand of the 300. I don't think it's going to happen. And that is it. GG. I'm floored. Did not expect this result. Wow, Grandmonster showed up to play. 3-1 victory. Wow. 3-1. Defeated Matreiuss. GG. Odin into the semifinals. Grandmonster has defeated Matreiuss. He was a #1 seed overall coming into this tournament. Wow. Well played by Grandmonster. Well played. I gotta give him props. That first game did not look good. Did not look good for Grandmonster. But these next 3, it's like he just leaned over, flipped the switch, boop, and all of a sudden, he became a grand monster. Whew. Nice play. So what went wrong here for Matreiuss? What went wrong? I think there's a little bit of carelessness. I mean, losing like his hero for no reason. Not putting any pressure on the hunt early on. Like you could send your hero down and get play on the giraffe early. But, I mean, this map, the way it happened with where these giraffe were, it was a phenomenal map for Grandmonster. So this is a tough map, I think, to win here as the Poseidon. The Tundra game, Matreiuss went big for a Pestilence Rush, and that did not work out for him. Did not work out. And so he kind of threw that game. Game 2 was Frozen Waste, where Matreiuss, that was the game that Matreiuss could have won. If he had scouted that top hunt, I think it would be a win for him. We can see the eco difference is huge. It's all based off of that forest fire. Started this kind of plunge here in the economy for Matreiuss. That was a forest fire that killed 0 units. None. But did change the course of the game. So very important forest fire. Who are these people? I think earlier in the day on my earlier stream, people were complaining that all of the classical age god powers for Norse are absolutely awful. I would say that forest fire in certain circumstances can be very good. Here, I think it was very good. Just that pressure off of that hunt. So good. So strong. But here's what I'm going to do real quick. We're going to go back. Just because I don't have time to play a game, but I got time to sit and enjoy a little bit more time with you. We're going to go back to game number 2. And to me, the deciding moment in this game, which was probably the deciding moment in the series, because let's be honest, if it gets to game 3, which is on Mediterranean, Grandmonster has a very low chance of winning that game. So Matreiuss just needed to win 1 out of these 3 middle games. And this was the game that he could have won. And I'll go to it. I'll go to the point where he could have won. So good pressure here so far. So he sees these villagers. He sees them running this direction. The big thing here that Matreiuss does not know is this hunt pack here. Which there's really no excuse to not have that scouted. Because this is where your map fundamentals should come into play. And you should know that everything you have, the opponent has. So what he sees on his side of the map are 2 elk spawns. 2 elk spawns. So that should tell him the opponent has 2 elk spawns. He knows where the walrus spawn is. He knows where 1 elk spawn is. He does not know where the other elk spawn is. And he should know. It could be right here, but that's a little too close to the base for it to spawn. So realistically, without even scouting this, because this is too close for the elk to spawn, he almost should know that it's up here. Or at least should check, you know, because here's the rule of thumb. If you have a black spot on the map, it either has a gold mine or has hunt. You might as well assume it. Until you've scouted it. But right here, he saw these villagers running this way. He had the military advantage there. He forced Grandmonster back. Where does he go with his military? Goes back. It's on this. Finishes off the Valk. Villagers come to this hunt here and are completely uninterrupted while Matreiuss comes down to check this walrus. Not here. That's not bad, but theoretically with the way you can check hit points, you can know it's there. I don't know if there's a way to disable that. You say that right as I mentioned what he could have done. I don't know if we can disable that in the old game. And now here, so a nice counter raid here from Matreiuss. From Grandmonster. Matreiuss did the right thing by pressing the attack, because you don't want to defend because these raiding cavalry will just run away and you don't do anything anyway. But now he's dragged into the base when Matreiuss could come up here and get on this hunt. So in the end, where his army was, he could have sat on this hunt, which would have dramatically changed the game. Would have given him a win guaranteed? I don't know. But it would have helped. I mean, this game was really close. I mean, he's ahead here. Even has a Pegasus, but that to me, where this army pathed is kind of what changed this game. He saw these villagers running up here, just did not have this hunt scouted, so he never checked it, but he should have known it was there. But again, from me sitting here, not having to play and not having to make all these in-game decisions, not having to control my units, a lot easier for me to think about that and realize, oh, there's two elk spawns for me. He has 2 elk spawns. I don't know where the second one is. I'd better check for it. Just my thoughts. So the reason I kind of pulled this up, anyway, continue on this segue, is players like to, what I've seen over time is that if I win, I'm more skilled. If I lose, it's because of imbalance. Now, I'm not saying Matreiuss said that at all, but I know people will maybe look at this series and maybe say, oh, it needs nerfed, but I don't think that very many games actually come down to imbalance. There's just too many choices and decisions that come into games. Now, sometimes it does happen. I mean, there's obviously been imbalanced issues that have been problems in the past, but at this point, I don't think it's a problem. But the problem here was just this, and this has nothing to do with imbalance. Is wall chipping allowed? I guess, I mean, I didn't really change anything. We are going to be putting a reminder because we don't really want wall chipping. Though, really, he could have just walled and it would have been better anyway. Actually, wall chipping villagers doesn't work. It's wall chipping army. That screws everything up. But, anyway, that'll be something for another day. You shouldn't be wall chipping. You can put flower wall chips around towers. Not supposed to do more. I kind of understand this isn't what we're kind of going with there. But, as far as that rule. But, anyway, I appreciate everybody watching. That was a fun series. So far, these first two series that I have streamed have been really fun to watch. So really enjoyed it so far. So yeah, so we'll take a look at our bracket here. So we now know that Matreiuss is advanced. I already streamed this game. I do know who advanced, or not Matreiuss. Matreiuss didn't advance. Grandmonster advanced. I know who advanced here, but I don't want to spoil it in case people missed it. So then I've got these two matches to go over next. That'll have to wait a little bit towards the end of the week, I think. Maybe I can fit one in tomorrow, but doubtful. So that'll probably wait until maybe Thursday, Friday. And then we will be going into the semifinals. And we'll go from there. So what are they playing for, you might ask? Well, there is a $1,000 prize pool. And most of it is reserved for the Champions League brackets. But there's $50 for Challengers Champion. No spoilers there. I haven't watched that yet, so don't tell me who won. And then we'll also have some dollars to throw at a fan favorite of the tournament. But overall, if you're wondering, the prize pool amounts here. Where do I have it placed? $500 first place, second gets $250, third $115, fourth $65. 65 bucks. Total of $1,028. $1,000 of it came from Boyd himself, who is also attorney host, and $28 from Hell's Ravage. So a 10-28 prize pool, which is pretty cool for a Age of Mythology tournament. But all right, that'll be it for tonight. I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate the company, the chatter in the chat. I liked a little bit of banter. You guys kept it good. Sometimes the Twitch banter gets way out of control. I don't appreciate that, but you guys keep it nice and congenial. I have no problem with that. So appreciate everybody watching. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And remember that life is too short to be a hater. That is all I will say.